I know it's been a while. I will explain. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Haley. If you have never been here before, this is your first impression of me, I apologize. If you have been here before and you're wondering, Haley, where have you been? I'm going to explain. Long story short, life is really busy. I'm a student full-time, so I work at the hospital in a clinical placement. And because that's a free thing, like I'm not being paid to do that, I also have a part-time job on the side. So content creation can sometimes be put on the back burner, especially when you're dealing with a lot of burnout, which is something that I've definitely been experiencing. And not only that, but I got hit with the worst reading slump I've ever had after reading Releasing 10 by Chloe Walsh. I literally did not finish a book for an entire month after finishing that. But I'm happy to say in the last week, I've actually finished 3 books. So we are on the uprise. But I wanted to just come on here really quick, kind of make a quick update video, what I plan to do with my posting schedule moving forward, and just like maybe a little reading update too, because why not? So as I mentioned, I was in a very large reading slump. I finished Releasing 10 early in June, and it literally kind of absorbed my entire life. Like, it's all I could think about, and it actually like low-key put me in a weird mental state. I love that series, and I think that might be my favorite one in the series, but it definitely destroyed me, and if you know, you know. So that reading slump entailed me picking up multiple books and also DNFing multiple books because I did not finish a single book until last week, so the first week of July. And I never really planned to stop posting on YouTube or to stop vlogging over the last couple of months, but the winter blues mixed with a very busy schedule and just like really not having a ton of motivation to read or create, it was very hard for me to do long form content. TikTok and Instagram are very different because it's short form content. Instagram I've never really been very consistent on, but TikTok I've always made it a goal to continue to be consistent. And I did have a little rough go with during my reading slump, like I wasn't really posting as often, but I'm happy to say that the motivation has come back, as well as just having more of a clear mindset and a plan. And that brings me into what my posting schedule will be. So as of right now, I'm planning on posting every Sunday on YouTube. TikTok will always be every day. Instagram's kind of, I'm not there yet. We'll get there. I think having a clear schedule and knowing the exact day I need to have a video up will make it a lot easier for me to know in what way I need to plan my content. Kind of creates this sense of accomplishment if I can get what I need to get done earlier in the week. So like, for example, if I have my video filmed on Monday, I know that I'm going to have my video posted on Sunday, and it's great. Now, there is going to be some exceptions to this because I do feel like I can't necessarily always stick to a Sunday schedule, because there may be weeks where I film a ton of videos and some of those videos will only be relevant within a given time. For example, like a TBR for the next month or a reading wrap up. It wouldn't make sense for me to post my reading wrap up on the first Sunday of a month if it's the 7th and now we're already a week into the next month. So therefore, I may post my reading wrap up earlier in order to have it make it more fitting for the time. I also will have some videos coming out in the next little bit, mostly because I already had them filmed since February and never got around to editing them or posting them, and now I am, because I don't want to waste that content and I don't want to like not post it. Am I the most proud of it? Is it my favorite content I've ever made? No. But I'm going to post it just to have it up there and to get back into the swing of things. And then hopefully moving forward, the videos will all be videos that I'm very, very proud of and will be more current. One thing I didn't really mention is that I did graduate, which is really exciting. I just have 3 more weeks of clinical placement, which is why I think this schedule will work for me, because once my clinical placement's over, I am going to have a lot more free time up until after my exam. And, you know, when I find out if I've passed, like I can't work really in the field that I'm going to school for until I've passed that exam and found a job. So therefore, I'm only going to have my part-time job and I'll have a lot more time for content. With that, let's get into a reading update. So like I mentioned, I literally did not finish a book for an entire month. I was trying all different genres, all different formats, and nothing was hitting. And I did finally realize some things about me and what can put me into a slump, what I can change to get out of a slump. So I basically stopped reading every book that I was in the middle of, which was like 3 or 4 of them, and just decided I was DNFing them, and if I ever want to come back to them, I will. Some of them it does suck because I was really interested in Shield of Sparrows, okay? I was really into it, but I'm just not in a fantasy mood right now, and I needed to put that down. So hopefully I get motivation in the fall at least to pick that back up. So I would like to finish it before I forget everything. I don't want to have to restart because I was like 45% in. But I finally decided to just go back to my tried and true contemporary romance. I picked up Wildside by Elsie Silver because the first 2 books in this series were 5 stars for me, so I figured what better way to get out of a slump than to read a series that I know and love? And it didn't disappoint. I really loved it. It wasn't my favorite in the series, but I really liked it and it got me out of my slump. This was the first book that I had finished since being in my slump. So then I was excited because I got an ARC for Chasing Shelter by Catherine Cowles. This is the 5th book in the Sparrow Falls series, and I really, really liked the book previous to this. I haven't read book 1 through 3, which I do plan to do. But I really liked this one as well. This is my favorite one by her so far. I gave this one 4.5 stars. So that just like helped even more. And I think like switching up the format, because I read Wildside physically and then I read Chasing Shelter on my Kindle, it kind of like helped and gave me some variety in a way that wasn't necessarily based on the genre, because it's still contemporary romance, although that did sit more like a romantic suspense. And then I just decided to keep going with contemporary because clearly they were hitting. So I read Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez, and this was a 5-star read for me. So we had a 4, a 4.5, and then a 5. So we're just on the uprising, okay? I know a lot of people didn't like this because it was a lot more like depressing than like a typical happy summer romance, but I don't think that's what this was intended to be. I think that it was intended to be a bit of a harder read, and I loved this so much. And what I really liked is I felt like it was like an avenue into my next read or my current read right now, because it was contemporary romance with a bit of like harder topics to read about. And I've been dying to read My Friends by Fredrik Backman. I got this book as an ARC and I didn't read it before it came out because reading slump, but I love Fredrik Backman and I love his writing, and I was worried to put myself back in a slump going into this because I've just been reading fun little romances, and if you've read Fredrik Backman, you know that is not what his books are. So I did actually end up getting a loan from my library on Libby for the audiobook, and then I also have the physical. Now, I'm not going to read the audio at all without the physical. So I have learned that audiobooks, for the most part, aren't necessarily my favorite way to consume literature. I don't want to read books that I'm extremely excited to read on audio in case that affects how I rate them. So I am going to tandem read these, and I love tandem reading. Tandem reading is my favorite read, which is listening to the book and reading the book at the same time. And that's what I'm doing with this. I started this last night. I'm almost 100 pages in and I'm loving it. So this is your sign that if you're ever in a reading slump, you literally just need to go to your tried and true. Go to those authors that you know never miss for you and just start there. But I do actually have a video planned of literally all my tips on getting out of a reading slump, because I've gotten out of multiple, and this past one was the worst one I've ever been in, and I was able to get out of it. It was so bad, I thought that I literally was like falling out of love with reading. Like I thought that I was just not going to be a reader anymore, and that would have been terrible because of the amount of money I've put into this. But I will have a whole video coming out on just like ways that I think you should try to get out of a slump if you're in one, so make sure to look out for that. I don't really have much of a TBR because one of the things I think with a reading slump is literally reach for the book that sounds the best for you in a moment. Like don't try to pick up a book for a specific reason, literally pick up what sounds good. So I'm not really setting out specific books. I do have like a general idea of a couple books that I'm excited to read, so like those are kind of in my brain right now what I want to pick up next, but when the time comes, I'm going to pick up whatever makes sense. But overall, that's it. That is my reading update. That is my life update. I'm happy to be back. I'm excited to start creating content again. And if you want to stick around and see how my content goes and how my schedule works out, make sure to subscribe and also like this video if you liked it, because I really appreciate it. I will see you in the next one. Disclaimer, the next video coming out is going to be kind of a building a bookshelf / book organization, but it's very terrible because I started it in February and just finished it yesterday. So that one is a bit of a weird one, but I hope you enjoy it anyways.